This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning and welcome in. I'm Rebecca Smith.
And I'm Bill Bryant. It's so good to have you with us. Here we are on Wednesday. It's Hump Day, July 20th. Another hot one is on the way. And now at 6 a.m., a Powell County woman accused of murder claims she was acting in self-defense. Coming up, we'll look at the investigation ahead of a major hearing today.
It's official. Donald Trump will represent the Republican Party in the race for the White House.
And endless support for law enforcement has been seen across the Commonwealth in recent weeks. A national pizza chain will continue that today for state police in Frankfort.
Temperatures don't feel too bad this morning, still a little bit humid. As we get into your afternoon, you'll really feel it once again. Right around 90 degrees, a steamy day in store. And it actually gets even warmer than that. I'm going to show you how high our temperatures go because that's the focus of the forecast. That's coming up.
All right, here's the latest news now.
A Powell County woman accused of murdering her ex-boyfriend will face a judge today.
Police say Melissa Roberts shot and killed Stephen Strange at her home 3 months ago. But Roberts says the shooting was in self-defense. WKYT's Mark Barber is joining us from our live desk with more on this case. Mark?
Good morning, Bill. Since Melissa Roberts claims she killed her ex-boyfriend in self-defense, police did not charge her. Instead, they let a grand jury decide if she should go to court. Well, yesterday, that jury indicted her for murder. So in 4 hours, Roberts will stand before a judge for the first time.
I just shot him and he's laying on the floor. I just killed the man alive.
You can hear Roberts' distressed voice on the line with a 911 dispatcher after she shot and killed Stephen Strange back in April. In a jail interview, she told us that he came to her house after she obtained an emergency protective order against him. Roberts says he was abusive, so when he confronted her, she killed him to protect herself. Strange's family does not think that's how it happened.
The way it was explained to us is that there was not, he had not done any physical violence to her whatsoever.
I still live like he's alive. Every decision that I make is based on whether it will make him mad.
At this time, state police are not releasing any information that would explain why Roberts has been charged with murder. She will be in court at 10 o'clock this morning. From the live desk, Mark Barber, WKYT.
New this morning, Lexington police are looking for a man who robbed a Lexington gas station. Police say the man acted like he was going to buy beer from the Marathon on North Broadway near the interstate before he pulled a knife on the clerk and stole cash.
Donald Trump is now the Republican nominee for president. The extraordinary political takeover was cemented last night after Trump received the votes needed during a roll call of the states at the Republican National Convention. Governor Matt Bevin spoke on behalf of Kentucky's GOP delegation.
From a state where our citizens still respect God and the Constitution and our military and our police officers, it is our honor to cast our vote. 7 for Governor Kasich, 7 for Senator Rubio, 15 for Senator Cruz, and 17 for the next President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump.
Indiana Governor Mike Pence will formally accept the nomination as the vice presidential nominee tonight, with Trump accepting his nomination and making a speech tomorrow. We'll have much more from Cleveland coming up in about 10 minutes.
The trial continues today for a man accused in a Lexington murder case. Matthew Donahue is accused of stabbing his boyfriend Todd Schumacher to death in January last year. Yesterday, the jury heard from first responders who described the night they found Schumacher's body, saying it was a bloody scene. Donahue says Schumacher tried to strangle him and calls the stabbing self-defense. Donahue is not eligible for the death penalty. The judge expects the trial to end tomorrow. The man who brought us some of the most iconic sitcoms of the 1970s has died. Michelle Chamberlain is at our alert desk with a look back at Gary Marshall's life.
Gary Marshall was an actor, director, writer, and producer who entertained audiences for more than half a century.
Sunday, Monday, happy days.
By 1979, Gary Marshall had 3 of the top 5 shows on TV, including Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, starring his sister Penny, and Mork and Mindy, starring an unknown comic at the time, Robin Williams. The show made Williams a star. Marshall estimated he wrote and directed some 1,000 sitcom episodes. On CBS This Morning, he talked about how TV changed over the years.
On Happy Days, you said you couldn't even say the word virgin. No,
You
well,
couldn't say the word
there was a
virgin.
lot of censorship. You know, we said she was as pure as snow, but she drifted.
Yeah.
But but sometimes when you have censorship, you got to be a little smarter, a little clever.
After the news of his death last night, stars took to social media. Happy Days icon Harry Winkler tweeted, "Rest in peace. Thank you for your loyalty, friendship, and generosity." Marshall died in California from complications of pneumonia following a stroke. A public memorial service is being planned on his birthday, November 13th. Gary Marshall was 81 years old.
All right, a lot of people no doubt reminiscing today, as we have been in our newsroom with all the memories of some of those great shows he created. Well, some of the football players at Rowan County High School say that the recent report of hazing allegations has been blown out of proportion. The Office of Education Accountability claims younger players on the team suffered several concussions after being hit by older players. Their report says the concussions were part of a culture of hazing that school officials did not handle correctly. The claims are from 2014 and 2015 when Ray Graham was coach.
And he never let one person hurt another player, haze, anything. Nothing like that went on. And that's coming from me as a freshman.
Graham's contract has not been renewed since the school suspended him back in February. The report also claims school principal Ray Ginter and Superintendent Marvin Moore violated state law by failing to investigate the hazing claims. In a statement, Ginter said the school investigated everything that was presented to them. Moore called it a personnel issue, saying the school addressed it immediately.
The Knox County Grand Jury will hear the case of a man accused of stabbing his mother and stepfather. Joe Gibson was riding in a car with Connie Smith and Randy Smith when police say he cut their throats. Both of them were taken to UK Hospital. Gibson is charged with attempted murder. The case will be heard August 29th.
A man is recovering this morning after a lawnmower accident in Madison County. That happened about 7:30 last night on Old Highway 25 near Silver Creek Elementary School in Berea. State police say a man was mowing on a riding lawnmower. When it flipped over, he flipped into a pond. The mower then landed on him. Police say the man was rescued and rushed to a hospital. His current condition unknown to us this morning.
There's been several acts of kindness for law enforcement across the Bluegrass in recent weeks, and another show of support will take place today. Domino's Pizza is providing lunch for all 548 Kentucky State Police employees in the Frankfort area to show their thanks for officers. Pizzas will be delivered to the KSB Central Lab every 30 minutes throughout the afternoon. For officers working second and third shift, Domino's says the pizzas will be delivered to Post 12.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Pretty calm start to the morning as you were walking out the door. No rain outside, so there's some good news. You won't have to worry about that. It's still a little bit humid, though, and though it is July. Look toward Indianapolis, just south of that, and you have a few showers, a couple of rumbles of thunder. It's sliding toward us. It's moving our direction, but the farther it gets away from its energy source, which is well back west of here, the more it just continues to fade away. I don't expect this to actually make its way into our region. Upper 60s, lower 70s. Not a bad start, but it's not the greatest start. But I will tell you this, by the afternoon, it's going to be sticky once again. 90 degrees back in the forecast. We reached the upper 80s to around 90 yesterday, depending on where you are. And the good news here is no rain in the forecast. Now, I will tell you this. Today, Thursday, off into Friday, you're talking about this much of a chance of rain. Very small. I just can't rule out a pop-up shower or thunderstorm, and I literally mean that. A pop-up shower or thunderstorm, and that's it. So 90% of us actually stay dry. No real rain chance in the forecast anytime soon. Real rain chance means scattered showers, thunderstorms. You're not going to get that anytime soon. Watch your hour-by-hour index as we head throughout your heat index, that is, through Friday and into Saturday. Now, I just put these 2 days on here, Friday and Saturday. Those are your hottest days in the forecast. This is not your temperature. This is the feels like temperature when you walk outside because you throw that moisture in there. It's 101 there in Lexington, 104 in Frankfort. Check out I-65 corridor. Don't want to live there. 108 in Louisville showing up on this particular model. And then we head towards Saturday and Sunday, and then you're talking about having still some pretty warm conditions and those heat index values right there around 100. So it's still going to be hot this weekend. if you have any events going on, just know a lot of water will be needed. And also, you can't rule out a couple of rumbles of thunder on Saturday and Sunday. Neither one of these days are a good chance of rain. Most of us stay dry all the way through the weekend. And so here's your seven-day forecast, 90 to about 93 now through Sunday. And then we hit next week a storm or two in the forecast. None of those days are great chances of rain, but it's one of those times that you kind of hope you have rain over you. It kind of makes you feel a little bit better.
Just cool down a little.
Yeah, just a nice little cool down. So, yeah, it's just one of those times that we're in that swing in July. It is summer.
Hydration.
There
right?
you go.
Yeah.
And notice you haven't had a sip of that. You need to start drinking.
It has electrolytes.
How do you know that's not my fourth bottle?
Well, that's true. Yeah. Well, I've been with you on that.
It's got electrolytes.
Knock it out, buddy.
Force those fluids. You got it. All right, thank you, Micah. 6:10 on WKYT.
We're bringing you weather and traffic together right now.
Let's go to Officer Don and take a look at what's happening out there on the roads. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. Some debris in the roadway on the inner loop of Man-O-War. This is just past Palumbo. Looks like a truck lost part of its load there. They'll get that cleared shortly. Now, the circle itself still looks great. Tate's Creek Road, quiet this morning past Armstrong Mills so far. Let's go look outside at overall Lexington traffic flow, and we'll show you what's happening around town. Not much right now. And our drive times are looking good. From Nicholasville, should be a normal ride in for you this morning. No problems coming in across the Clays Ferry Bridge from Madison County or from Georgetown. Now back to you in the studio.
Okay, Don, thank you very much. Some early daylight out there now to travel in, and it was a beautiful night.
Tell us how you sweated.
We come in early. I did yesterday.
You just made that mention.
Ponds around, small ponds. All right, we have a more news coming up for you on WKYT here on your Wednesday.
Donald Trump officially became the Republican presidential nominee last night, but his Democratic opponent was off in the focus. The latest from the Republican National Convention when we return.
6:11 on WKYT this morning. 6:15 on WKYT this morning. Good morning to you. It's a nice day out there on this Wednesday. It is day 3 of the Republican National Convention, and today's theme will be Making America First Again.
Well, Donald Trump and Mike Pence officially became the party's nominees last night. As Weijia Zhang reports from Cleveland, the night was supposed to hinge on the economy, but many of the speakers used their address to attack Hillary Clinton.
Congratulations, Dad. We love you.
The second day of the RNC proved to be a family affair. After Donald Trump was formally named the GOP's presidential nominee, 2 of his children addressed the convention during primetime.
He's always helped me be the best version of myself.
I know that when people tell him it can't be done, that guarantees that he gets it done.
Trump's rival turned ally Chris Christie electrified the crowd with his so-called indictment of Hillary Clinton.
For risking America's secrets to keep her own and lying to cover it all up.
Clinton fired back at Christie over Twitter, writing, "If you think Chris Christie can lecture anyone on ethics, we have a bridge to sell you." Then the war of words continued immediately after Christie's speech.
If Hillary Clinton wants to take me on, I'm happy to take her on every day between now and the end of the campaign.
The biggest speech of the convention tonight will come from Indiana Governor Mike Pence, who officially became Trump's running mate yesterday.
California Delegate Marilyn Barkey is looking forward to his address.
I look forward to hearing what they'll do together and how they'll put America first.
Pastor Darrell Scott will also speak today.
I'm going to speak from my heart concerning the Mr. Trump that I know.
Ivanka Trump will introduce her father tomorrow on the final night of the convention. Weijia Zhang, CBS News, Cleveland.
And Kentucky Senate President Robert Stivers was also at the convention last night. It was the first time Senator Stivers was a delegate for Kentucky.
Well, my message in Eastern Kentucky is that Donald Trump is the person who can best deal with the problems we have. I come from a coal-producing section. We've lost thousands of jobs in that area, and Hillary Clinton is nothing more to us than an extension of what the Obama administration has been.
Stivers said his takeaway from the convention was that the Republican Party is unified. Mitch McConnell also addressed the Cleveland crowd. You'll hear from him at 6:30.
And the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee is weighing in on the RNC thus far. Campaigning in Las Vegas yesterday, Hillary Clinton said day 1 of the convention reminded her of The Wizard of Oz, with lots of sound and fury, but nothing new from Trump. The former Secretary of State also fired back at Governor Christie over Twitter, reminding people of his Bridgegate scandal.
A security scare in Philadelphia, which will host the Democratic National Convention next week. Police say officers pulled over a minivan and found explosives inside. A 31-year-old man was driving, but police say there were 2 3-year-olds in the van as well. Yikes. The bomb squad confiscated the explosives and some fireworks that were inside. The driver was arrested. For the second time this year, Kansas City has lost a police officer to a shooting. Authorities say Captain Robert Melton was shot in his vehicle yesterday when he encountered a man who fit the description of a suspect in a drive-by shooting. The man was arrested shortly after the officer was shot. Melton served in the police honor guard at the funeral of a fellow officer who was fatally shot in May.
We're coming up on 6:19 on WKYT this morning. Google is seeing more requests than ever from governments looking for information about its customers. In the second half of last year, requests for data related to user searches spiked to an all-time high, more than 40,000. Google's latest transparency report says about 12,000 of those requests came from the U.S. Iran may be playing hardball against Apple. The government wants the company to appoint a representative there and to register all iPhones. The Japan Times reports if Apple does not comply in the next few days, the Iranian government will collect all iPhones and ban them from the country. Well, Macy's wants shoppers to use artificial intelligence at its stores. The retailer is testing a mobile tool or a mobile companion. Shoppers can ask questions about where to find items and if they're in stock, questions they would usually ask of a salesperson. It was developed by IBM Watson. And stress is a fact of life for millions of Americans. A new survey looks at which cities handle it the best and which are the worst. Wallet Hub used a number of factors from workload to divorce rate and found that Detroit tops the list as the most stressed out city. It's followed by Mobile, Alabama. The least stressed was Fremont, California. By the way, Louisville came in as the 12th most stressed city, while Lexington ranked 27th.
Huh.
So there you go.
Or Detroit.
The stress rankings.
Wow, man.
Yeah, Detroit and Mobile is kind of interesting.
Tough time for the Motor City. WKYT this morning is just getting started. A member of the Harlem Globetrotters wowed Major League Baseball fans with an acrobatic first pitch last night. How he put his own spin on it when we return.
Wish I could put a spin on this forecast because it's going to be sizzling hot as we travel off through your work week. It actually gets even warmer as we get towards your Friday into your weekend. I'm going to show you how high those temperatures go coming up next.
Welcome back on in. It's 6:24 this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day. Well, a Powell County woman accused of murdering her ex-boyfriend will face a judge today.
And that's what's trending at this hour. Police say Melissa Roberts shot and killed Stephen Strange at her home 3 months ago. Yesterday, a grand jury indicted Roberts for murder. She claims the shooting was all in self-defense, saying Strange was abusive toward her. Roberts' arraignment is scheduled for 10 o'clock this morning.
Police are looking for a man who robbed a Lexington gas station overnight. They said the man acted like he was going to buy beer from the Marathon on North Broadway before he pulled a knife on the clerk. We're told the suspect got away with cash.
And heat and humidity teaming up on us. Let's get a quick check of the weather forecast. Here's meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, such a good looking start to the day. You're going to have a nice sunrise. And if you look at the far portion of your screen, that's where you actually see that full moon as it travels down toward the horizon. It's a really nice start to the day. Temperatures are there in the upper 60s, lower 70s. And as we finish off the day, we'll be there around 90 degrees. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. It's going to be just like the past couple of days. We'll be in the upper 80s, lower 90s, and staying mainly dry. So most of us will not see rain today. And really the next few days, that allows those temperatures just to continue to climb. I'll show you that 7-day coming up in a few minutes.
We mentioned the moon. It was beautiful. You know, when we came in this morning, certainly. Our time this morning is 6:25.
Harlem Globetrotter Cheese Grissom wowed fans with a one-of-a-kind first pitch last night. Take a look at this. Is that really his name, Cheese?
I guess it is. There he is, though. Look at him. You know, basketball on the baseball diamond there.
Okay, his name is Cheese.
The Globetrotter threw out the first pitch at the Philadelphia Phillies game. Unlike most, though, he threw the pitch while spinning a basketball on his finger. Some impressive stuff there. What do you think? Huh?
I like cheese, so I like this cheese.
Okay. Looks like they had some fun with that.
He's pretty sharp cheese, sharp
I
cheddar.
would think that if there's one contender for that, it might be Micah, who was a pitcher
is that
in
right?
baseball, and I've seen him span
know.
the globe. So we'll try him out sometime.
You've witnessed it, huh?
Take a video of that, see how that all goes. 6:26 on WKYT this morning. Good to have you with us. Going to be a hot day today, but a beautiful one to enjoy. And we have a lot more news coming up.
A man's behind bars for posing as an accused shoplifter's attorney. A very bizarre story when we come up at 6:30.
Also, tonight's Powerball jackpot, $361 million, and Friday's Mega Millions is $15 million. We have a lot more news on the way on WKYT this morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Kentucky mornings start here on WKYT, including these summer days. And we are glad you're with us. I'm Bill Bryant.
I'm Rebecca Smith. Welcome into you. Now at 6:30, a Powell County woman accused of killing her ex-boyfriend will face a judge later this morning.
Also, Senate Majority Leader and Kentuckian Mitch McConnell took the stage last night at the Republican National Convention. What he had to say, and a look ahead to later today at the convention ahead.
Today, Pokeballs will invade Commonwealth Stadium. More on the Pokemon Go event they're hosting there just ahead.
It's a pretty nice start to the day, and as we travel off into your afternoon, we're going to be sitting there with mostly sunny skies and also some very steamy conditions. They're in the upper 60s, lower 70s. Not a big change from the past couple of mornings. By the afternoon into the next several days, you're going to see those temperatures rise each and every day. I'm going to have that coming up in a few minutes.
All righty, we'll see you then. Let's get to the news. Today, a woman accused of shooting her ex-boyfriend to death is going to be appearing before a Powell County judge.
Yesterday, a grand jury indicted Roberts for murder and police arrested her, but she claims she acted in self-defense. WKYT's Mark Barber is at our live desk with more on the case against her.
Morning, Rebecca. In a jailhouse interview, Melissa Roberts is explaining for the first time why she shot and killed her ex-boyfriend.
I didn't tell him no, I didn't defy him because I knew what would happen if I did. What would happen? I would get hurt.
The 33-year-old says Stephen Strange was abusive, so when he came to her house and confronted her 2 months ago, she shot him. Court records show Roberts had an emergency protective order against Strange. Since Roberts claims she killed him in self-defense, police did not charge her and let a grand jury decide if there's enough evidence against her to file charges. Yesterday, that jury indicted Robert for murder, so state police arrested her. While investigators aren't releasing any details that would explain why she is now charged with murder, Strange's family says they were told he never hurt Roberts.
I know that they had a very difficult relationship and everything, but I knew Stephen loved her very much, and as far as I know, she loved him too.
I didn't mean to. I didn't want him to die. I just wanted him to stop.
Roberts will stand before a Powell County judge for the first time at 10 o'clock this morning. From the live desk, Mark Barber, WKYT.
While last night was a big night for Donald Trump at the Republican National Convention, his Democratic rival Hillary Clinton was often the focus. The highest-ranking Republican in the U.S. Senate was among the speakers who spoke out against Clinton. Michelle Chamberlain is at the alert desk with details.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is blaming what he calls Clinton Democrats for a Senate standoff that's blocked President Obama's request for money to fight the Zika virus. The Kentucky lawmaker spoke last night at the Republican National Convention in Cleveland.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been around a while, and I've been around the Clintons more than anybody should ever have to be. A couple of years ago, Bill and Hillary camped out in my state telling anyone who'd listen why they ought to vote against me. Tonight, I'm here to return the favor.
Congress is now in a 7-week recess and left Washington without acting on the Zika money. Democrats objected to a GOP proposal that would block Planned Parenthood clinics in Puerto Rico from getting money to fight the virus. McConnell says he wonders what Democrats, quote, think public service is about. He says the presidential election will answer those basic questions. Who is looking out for us?
Michelle, thank you. Another Kentucky lawmaker will be speaking at the Republican National Convention later today. State Senator Ralph Alvarado Jr., who is a physician from Winchester, will be speaking about how he believes the Republican Party is the party of opportunity for voters of all backgrounds, especially Hispanics. Senator Alvarado will address the convention later this evening.
The controversy continues over Melania Trump's convention speech this morning, but it also has the late-night comics cranking out the jokes. There have been accusations that part of the speech was lifted from a similar speech Michelle Obama gave in 2008. On NBC's Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon did his Trump impersonation. As Trump, Fallon said Melania stole the show, literally. Jimmy Kimmel on ABC said the Republicans explained Mrs. Trump repeating Mrs. Obama's words as how Melania learned to speak English. Stephen Colbert on CBS's Late Show says Mrs. Trump's speechwriters are to blame. Colbert added, if only there was someone in the Trump campaign who enjoyed firing people.
All right, 6:35 on WKYT this morning. The heat was in full force across Kentucky yesterday. You knew that if you were outside, and it looks like that same thing's going to happen today. Heat and humidity, the team that's getting together.
The air just feels thick out there, Micah.
It's kind of that air you can wear. We like to always say that, and it's just sticky outside. We're going to have that the next several days. It's not going to change. If you're wanting to get up, nice little walk, nice little run around the neighborhood, well, you can do that, but just know it's going to be a little bit humid. The good news here is you won't have to worry about any rain early this morning. Out on the roadways, things are looking pretty good. Those showers that you see there in Indiana, they won't make its way to us. We're sitting there in the upper 60s, lower 70s. Looks pretty good on the roads. A little fog there, Clays Ferry Bridge. Other than that, not seeing many issues there as you're coming out of Madison County into Fayette. Speaking of Fayette County, the 75 corridor, Winchester Road, Southern Split, Man O' War at the 108 exit. We're holding on to conditions that look pretty good, so no problems there on the highways and byways that I'm hearing about. Focus of the forecast, obviously, it's about the heat. Not so much about thunderstorms. Thunderstorms are almost non-existent, but when do we see the rain move on in? I might have that coming up in a few minutes.
Film and television legend Gary Marshall's passed away. According to a statement released by his publicist, Marshall died at a hospital in Burbank from complications of pneumonia following a stroke. He's best known for creating shows like Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley. He also directed several hit movies, including Pretty Woman and The Princess Diaries. Marshall was 81 years old.
A lot of us have been reminiscing about all those great shows that he created over the years. Our time this morning is 6:36 on WKYT, and new this morning, a Lexington man is in jail accused of impersonating a lawyer. Police say when a woman suspected of shoplifting from the Bryan Station Road Kroger was questioned, she asked if her attorney could be present. Police say James Gormley III showed up at the store and acted as if he were her attorney. But police say Gormley is not a licensed attorney in Kentucky. He is charged with unauthorized practice of law.
A phone scam involving callers claiming they're collecting money for families of fallen officers is making its way around southern Kentucky. The caller says they are with the American Police Academy, and they claim the money is for families of murdered police officers. Somerset police say it's tough to know how reputable the agency is.
Citizens in the area are receiving phone calls from an American Police Academy. We've been unable to verify that as a legitimate police training agency. As far as we know, it's not in Kentucky and nowhere else that we can find.
Police say if you are willing to give money, find a reputable charity and don't wait on someone to call you.
Well, former Congressman Ben Chandler has been named the president and CEO of the Foundation for a Healthy Kentucky, a new job for him. The nonpartisan group seeks to address health care needs by developing and influencing health policy and improving access to care. Chandler, a Democrat, represented Kentucky's 6th congressional district from 2004 to 2013. He also served terms as Attorney General and Auditor in the Commonwealth.
If you want to brave the heat, the University of Kentucky is inviting folks to come on out to Commonwealth Stadium this afternoon to catch a Pokemon. The Pokemon Go craze shows no signs of slowing down. Looks as if there will be plenty of Pokemon to catch on the football field at Commonwealth. UK Associate Athletic Director Nathan Schwakey says other places have opened up their stadiums for Pokemon hunting. Now it's UK's turn to invite folks out to play.
Obviously, the field is not available on game day to people who are coming out, so this is a unique opportunity to get out here on the field and, if nothing else, just take some pictures on the field.
Commonwealth will be open from 4:30 to 6:30 this afternoon. Pokemon hunters can park in the red lot and can enter through gate 9.
All right.
That sounds like fun.
They'll have some fun. If you don't get to go, WKYT News, of course, will be on during that time as well. We'll have some live reports from
We're
out
a
there.
lucky reporter will get that assignment. That looks like fun.
Get to see what's happening out there.
Yeah, let's get a check of traffic right now.
Let's go to Officer Don with a check on live drive traffic. He's out at 98.1 The Bull. Good morning, Don.
Good morning. Just got word of a non-injury crash inbound North Broadway between the Circle and the Interstate. So shouldn't be a big problem with one lane blocked there. They're working on that one. Let's get a look outside at overall traffic flow, show you what to expect this morning. It's quiet coming in from Jessamine County, watching Nicholasville and Man of War. Also, we're okay through the crossover on Harrodsburg Road. No major delays from Versailles either. Drive times this morning holding our own. With no significant issues to deal with. And as we get a live look outside Harrodsburg and Pasadena, that is the crossover. You can see inbound traffic is steady. Now back to you in the studio.
All right, when you get in your car, remember that Officer Don and Deanne are on 98.1 The Bull. You can listen in, have some fun, and get the latest traffic and weather info anytime with the WKYT Weather Plus Traffic app. Download that for free in the App or Google Play stores. Hey, it's good to have you with us. Wednesday morning, Hump Day on WKYT. We have a lot more news on the way.
Yes, we do. A Louisville mother tried punishing her son for making him mow lawns, but that form of punishment, if you will, backfired.
He liked it.
Yeah, and now he's really helping out there. We'll tell you how.
Yeah, I love stories like that. Steamy temps on the way, too, all the way throughout the rest of your work week. And you know it's going to be hot, but do you know if it's going to storm any of these days? I might have that forecast, and I'll explain that coming up next.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
So we're about 50 feet up on our WKYT Skycam. Good vantage point all around the region, a good 360-degree view. But we want to view the east because that's where the sun rises. And check that shot out. Live sky camera. Really good looking start to the day. And you know what? It's going to be a good finish, too, look-wise, not so much feeling-wise. Because when you walk out the door this morning, good news here is there's nothing to worry about. The roadways are dry, your front porch is dry, your sidewalk's going to be dry. Everything looks good. The rain that you see up toward Indianapolis, just south of that along I-65 corridor, it's heading our direction. You're saying, are we going to be seeing storms out of that? No, this will continue to fall apart, and you'll be good to go the next several hours, and maybe even the next few days. Temperature-wise, we're in the 70s for most, a couple of upper 60s, but it's pretty much the same as the past several days. Now, it's a humid start, and it's going to be a humid day in store right around 90 degrees later on this afternoon. You'll have a mixture of sun and clouds, the pool, the lakes, the rivers. I'm jealous if you're heading that way, but if you are, enjoy because it's one of those days that's pretty good there out at the waterways. And that's going to be the case the next few days, too. Watch this on your hour-by-hour forecast. I went ahead and fast-forward toward Friday, because Thursday's pretty much the same as today. There's not much to talk about except for the heat. Now, Friday is a little bit of a different story. Temperatures rise a little bit more. We'll be right there in the low, maybe even a couple of mid-90s, depending on the cloud cover. But then you throw in that moisture. Remember, the feels like temperature, it's that temperature we call the heat index. It's when you walk out your front door and it just hits you right in your face, right? That's the feels like temperature. It's the moisture temperature put together. And look at these showing up, upper 90s to around 100 degrees. It's 101 in Frankfurt on this particular model on Friday. Watch this into your weekend, though. It even gets hotter than that. We're showing triple digits in many locations, especially central, north, and western zones. Look at that one showing up in northern Kentucky, 105 in Covington, northern Kentucky, up towards Cincinnati. It's probably where you don't want to be there on Saturday. Go down south and southeast. Remember, southeast, we're a little bit farther away from the main heat, the main bulk of the heat, which is back well toward the west. 95 to 103 is what you're going to be feeling like there on Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday. We'll see. Even though temperatures aren't skyrocketing, you got to remember it's 86 to about 88 degrees is our average for this time of year. So we're really not that far off. These aren't record-breaking temperatures. It's just a string of days, guys, that we're going to be seeing or really feeling those 90s in the forecast. And Rebecca's mad at me right now about this forecast, throwing mouse pads and all these things.
That was the telephone down here,
Was
the
that
landline.
the telephone? That's all right.
You remember landlines?
Yeah, some people still have them. But anyway,
everything.
We're holding on to the 90s, upper 80s the next several days, guys. It's about the heat, not so much about the thunderstorms. So all in all, I think we'll get by without.
Hello.
Yeah, you calling somebody? We'll get by without the thunderstorms in the forecast until the weekend. The weekend looks like a little better opportunity.
Hydration is key.
Yes, it is. A lot of water.
Yeah, be
There
sure
you
to
go.
do that,
We'll do that.
if you're outside today. 6:46 on WKYT this morning.
A group of teens in Louisville catching the community's attention by working their tails off for free.
Love this story. Barbara Wilson says her son Travis has fallen in love with mowing lawns for other people. She says it started out as a punishment. She told him to go mow a neighbor's lawn. Her son enjoyed the work so much and became increasingly satisfied with seeing the freshly mowed lawns. Travis's scent brought his two brothers and a cousin on board.
We're doing it for the community, people who can't get out and do it. And I got my brothers involved because, like, I kind of showed them and then told them the good effect.
The boys have now expanded from just a few yards in their neighborhood to several areas around the city. They don't take payments. They do accept equipment and donations on their GoFundMe page. And their mother now plans to take the boys on a trip to Disney World because she is so proud of their hard work and the generosity that they have shown for the community.
That's great.
Yeah, good deeds there and some fresh,
it worked out.
fresh
Wow.
lawns.
My punishments never worked out that way when I was a kid, right?
Looks like that one that has done well. All right, coming up, it's 6:48 right now on WKYT, and coming up, a look at some of the stories we're working on for you.
Stay with us.
Coming up, Donald Trump Jr. takes the convention stage. Nora talks to him about the controversy surrounding Melania's speech. Plus, Dr. John LaPook on what may be the first Zika case from a mosquito here in the U.S. More real news coming up on CBS This Morning, next.
Good morning. It's great to have you with us. WKYT this morning with the latest. Heat and humidity have tag teamed for the week.
Beautiful marriage, right?
Yeah, right.
Well, a woman,
law firm or something.
I'm about to fall back out here. Okay. So, local news right now. A woman who admitted to killing her lover 3 months ago is now charged with his murder.
Right, and that's just one of the stories making headlines this morning. WKYT's Michelle Chamberlain joins us now with a look at what's trending on the web. Michelle?
Melissa Roberts was indicted by a Powell County grand jury yesterday. When she shot Stephen Strange back in April, she said it was self-defense. Roberts will be arraigned this morning, and we're working to find out more about why she was indicted. We're also posting an interview on WKYT.com with Gary Marshall, who was recently on CBS This Morning. The legendary writer and director behind several hit sitcoms died last night at the age of 81. And check out our story about UK opening up Commonwealth Stadium to Pokemon Go players later today. WKYT's Garrett Weimer has a sneak peek at what fans can expect to find. Of course, you can always get the latest news by downloading the WKYT News app and sign up for push alerts to be the first to know when breaking news happens.
Hazard police are looking for a woman this morning wanted for questioning in a case involving stolen debit and credit card numbers. They posted this surveillance picture, it's a pretty good photo, to their Facebook page saying the woman seen here, you can see that pretty clearly, is a person of interest. Cocktails are gaining popularity, and with that, Kentucky is right in the middle of a bourbon boom. The resurgence of cocktails has led to a 315% spike in Kentucky bourbon production since 1999. But the industry is struggling to keep up, which is why many distilleries are now expanding. Buffalo Trace expects to double its capacity within the next 8 years. Woodford Reserve just finished a large expansion project, but whiskeys need a few years to age. Many distilleries did not anticipate today's demand. The Buffalo Trace distillery is suffering from a shortage. Freddie Johnson says the company's high-end brands like Pappy Van Winkle need more than 20 years to age.
Bourbons that we're enjoying today were the bourbons made a generation before.
Liquid gold right there. Due to the shortage of Pappy, online liquor stores are now reselling bottles for 10 times the retail value. But the bourbon boom isn't just helping distilleries, it's actually created an economic ripple effect in Kentucky. Tourism is up as more people visit Kentucky's famous bourbon trail. Farmers have more than doubled their growth of corn and rye, which are used in bourbons. Amazing, isn't it? Well, another Kentucky community is putting alcohol sales on the ballot. A special election will be held in Boyd County next month. Voters will decide whether to allow sales of packaged alcohol in stores. Since 2007, alcohol has been available in most Boyd County restaurants. Already this summer, voters have gone wet in Breathitt and Metcalfe counties, Williamsburg, Harrodsburg, Litchfield, Mayfield.
Interesting. Now you're seeing this trend in many of the counties having those county-wide votes. Well, federal regulators have announced that nearly all dust samples from U.S. coal mines are in compliance with new rules meant to reduce particles that cause black lung disease. The head of the U.S. Mine Safety and Health Administration says about 99% of the 20,000 underground dust samples that have been collected were in compliance. The samples were gathered from April through June. Well, officials will be deciding today whether to reopen 2 Southern California beaches that have been closed because of a 1 million-gallon sewage spill. A buried pipe some 20 miles away in Los Angeles collapsed. It caused a blockage and a spill of 2.4 million gallons of raw sewage that belched stinky sludge onto the streets and right into storm drains. Long Beach and Seal Beach have been closed, and health officials will be testing the water for bacteria to determine whether they are safe to reopen. Today marks the 47th anniversary of the moon landing. Back on July 20th, 1969, Apollo 11 touched down on the lunar surface at exactly 4:18 p.m. Eastern Time. It had taken off on the morning of July 16th, carrying Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. A little over 6 hours later, Armstrong became the first man to set foot on the moon and coined one of the most famous quotes in human history.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Amazing. Over 500 million people watched the lunar landing live back here on Earth. So an important day in history.
Yeah, very much so. Let's check in right now with Micah. This is a very important day for our weather, Micah.
We're looking for cool, but look out there. It's a beautiful day out there. It's going to be hot. Huh?
Yeah, it looks good, but it's just one of those days like you guys were talking about. It's going to be a steamy day in store. Live sky camera, there's your shot. You can see plenty of sunshine, and we'll hold on to that throughout much of your day. Much of your day is going to be just fine. And we'll say 90% of us are dry. 10% just can't rule out a pop-up thunderstorm. But other than that, I think we're going to be good to go. 71 degrees right now in Lexington. If you're about to walk out the door, it's really not a bad start to the day. No rain there on the roadways, nothing to worry about weather-wise. And we get into your afternoon, 90 degrees if you're planning on getting the kids out to the pools, the lakes, the rivers. That'd be perfect. Grab the sprinkler, throw it in the backyard, and turn that baby on full blast, as they will absolutely love that. We actually did that. My family's in town from Alabama. I got my nephew in town. We put them in the backyard. We just sat in some chairs and just watched them for 30 minutes.
I'll be out there running with them.
There you go.
I love this.
You got to.
You were saying those 2-year-old guys are just convinced they're stronger.
They're stronger than I am.
Okay, nobody's more up to date than you to start your day. Thank you for being with us on WKYT.